Who am I to be happy when people I love are suffering? Who am I to enjoy my wealth creation when there are other people in scarcity? Abundance is an inside job, and your intuition is the key to unlocking it all. Hello and welcome. I'm Rebecca Davison, founder of the Intuitive Life Academy, the leading place to develop your intuitive and psychic gifts. As an ascension guide and light leader, I'm committed to bringing you all the latest tools, developments, and the neuroscience available when it comes to the art of effortless manifestation. This show is for light workers and for those who identify that your intuition is your greatest guide to bring you happiness, expansion, and money. With my corporate banking background, you'll receive practical advice along with all the energetic tools that you can apply in your life today. So if this resonates with you, let's jump into the world of abundance and learn what it takes to experience true freedom. Hello and welcome, folks. It's Rebecca Davison, intuition coach and founder of the Intuitive Life Academy. Welcome to episode 8. Today we are talking about how to handle jealousy, how to handle circumstances where the people around you are not able to celebrate your success. So this show has really been derived from a question that was sent to me, somebody asking my opinion in regards to what do you do when this is what you're starting to see in your reality, right? And I'll call the person Julia, but Julia submitted a question and said, I've done really well. I've done really well in my business with my partner, and we've achieved a certain level of success. But she said, what I've noticed is that not everybody around us is obviously in the energy of celebrating that, and it's both-sided in the respect that having customers say, oh, we must be paying you too much, or even employees or contractors maybe experiencing a feeling of being disgruntled or resentful, even to the extent where she's being very aware of perhaps what she's wearing in regards to her clothing and her jewelry, and even the car that she's driving. So wanting to kind of tone it down to make other people feel more comfortable. And I work with a lot of people who have had high levels of success, who are multi-millionaires, and let me put it this way, money beliefs and money junk, for want of a better word, shows up everywhere. So I think one of the first things to be aware of in this circumstance is, of course, that reality is subjective. So our reality is made up of all our past experiences. It's contributing to the way that we see reality. But the beautiful thing is to be aware and to understand that we have a choice in regards to how we see reality. And through awareness, we can shift our filter. So one of the first things I would do if a client came to me and they were like, I feel like the people around me are jealous, that it's not safe for me to shine. It's not safe for me to, enjoy my wealth creation. But this is how I would approach it. One of the first things I would start to do is to start looking at where in the past it has not been safe for you to shine your light. And of course, this often comes back to family patterns, right? Patterns of energy in our family dynamics where it hasn't been safe to shine, to achieve, to have accomplishments. Maybe that's made other people in your family unit feel uncomfortable. And therefore, what happens is further on down the track, when we are maybe we've overcome any of the contraction and then we're going out into the world and we're wanting to create more wealth and to enjoy that wealth, but we're still feeling in some way, shape or form guilty or perhaps a sense of shame in regards to having created that. There's still part of us that's like, I need to check this or I need to put a limit on this to kind of show a sense of humility, perhaps even, that I'm aware and conscious of how other people feel. So one of the first things to start doing is to start looking inside of ourselves. And I think often what happens when we're in these situations, we are looking externally. We're looking at what other people are saying, how other people are responding, the energy that they're bringing us, the attitude, the behaviors. And sometimes that can be a little confronting and a little daunting. But also too, we have a choice in every moment in regards to how we respond to what is occurring. So our job is to look inside of ourselves and go, what is this showing me about myself? Now, this is the first step, right, in regards to identifying and addressing this behavior. So bear with me because there is actually a process really here to unpack. So one of the first things is to look at where in the past, or perhaps as a child, there has been a process of it not being safe to shine. Right? It's not safe to achieve. It's not safe to go for it. Maybe it's made somebody else in your environment feel uncomfortable. Maybe it's made them feel inadequate. Maybe it's made them feel like they're not good enough if you are going for it. And I can completely understand and appreciate this because often as a woman, it can feel a lot of people around you can be daunted or feel intimidated or get triggered by your level of ambition. Right? Ambition often a lot of time is not a word that women actually embrace and hold on to because it's often kind of seen as a little bit like ball breaker energy. But if you are ambitious, which ironically a lot of people who, who've come from backgrounds that had a lot of adversity, it can create a feeling of ambition, like wanting to overcome, needing to transcend the BS, needing to, know that you can prove to yourself that life can be amazing. So really starting to look at where is this maybe a pattern from the past, right? Where has it not been okay to shine in the past? Where has somebody felt upset? And this can be really common, especially within our family, that it's not okay to outshine or out-succeed them, right? The tribe. And especially so for children with their parents. And also too, if you haven't had this modeled, right? If your parents haven't been super ambitious themselves, if they haven't had big dreams, if they haven't gone for it, then it can be, and we can have these big dreams and desires and we want to go for it. And then on some level, we can feel like that you're betraying the tribe by choosing your purpose, your goal, your mission over and above your family. Because this is the thing, your purpose, your mission, your goals are often inherent, right? They're part of who you are. So it really, in a way, it can feel like it's coming down to, am I going to choose my mission, my purpose, or my big why? Or am I going to choose my family member? Am I going to choose to make sure they're okay? And of course, in some circumstances, not always, but in some circumstances, what rears its ugly head in this circumstance is codependency. Codependency, of course, if you want the definitive guide, I would encourage you to read the book Codependent No More by Melody Beattie. You may be familiar with it already. But where we are essentially agreeing to stay in a certain energy, frequency, or vibration in order to keep other people happy, right? In order where we've had people perhaps who are around us who aren't happy, who aren't fulfilled, who aren't self-actualized, and on some level, because we love them, we are making subconscious agreements to remain at their level of happiness or non-happiness, shall we say. And this can often be very subconscious. And then it starts to present in circumstances where maybe we're seeing it as a pattern in the outside world several years down the track. So again, if somebody came to me and they're like, wow, I have a lot of people in my life and world that it feels like there's jealousy, it doesn't feel like they can celebrate my success, one of the first things to do, right, is to start asking some questions about where this pattern of energy has presented previously in your lifetime and who is it connected to and whereabouts, what is the emotion connected to this, and often one of the main emotions that becomes present in circumstances like this is guilt, right? Like, who am I to go for it when other people are not? Who am I to be happy when people I love are suffering? Who am I to enjoy my wealth creation when there are other people in scarcity? And this is how the ego just loves to basically mess with us. Because this is all the ego, right? The ego being the inner reflex that, the knee reflex when you go to the doctor. The ego reflex is like, it's not okay for me to be happy, essentially. I need to stay in the energy of suffering and therefore stay connected with the other people in my life who are suffering. And this can, even in itself, this can be quite a big revelation to go, wow, look what I'm agreeing to totally unconsciously. I'm agreeing to, on some level, that by me choosing my happiness, that somebody else is missing out. Now, if we boil this down, of course, this is not true, but this is often what can be created within ourselves. These can be the erroneous thought processes that originate, that bubble up, and also too that we can give power to, and therefore when we give them power, when we start consolidating them, they become a belief, and they literally kind of land in our body, in our energy field, and it becomes a reality, and therefore that reality starts presenting itself through energy. Which is why if you are experiencing a pattern, i.e. a situation that occurs more than once, and it has energy and charge on it, it's very important to investigate it. Because what we want to do is we want to do the work of being the psychic detective, doing the investigation and looking at what this is all connected to. So then we can kind of pull the pin on it and actually release it, because that's really what we want. And I can't tell you the number of times, and I know this may seem unusual, but if you're used to and understand how energy clearing works, what happens is I'm using my intuition to identify somebody's limiting beliefs, because their body and their energy field will show me, if they give me permission, to go into their energy field and start reading what is there for them. And then once you actually release the limiting belief, like literally their reality shifts, because that energy is not being held in the energy field before. So something that may have felt difficult or contracted previously, once it's gone, it's gone. So it's easier to move forward. It's easier to go out and create what it is that you want. And you can see how beneficial this is in terms of money, because if you're holding limiting beliefs around money, like it's not safe for me to be wealthy. It's not safe on some level for me to amass a great fortune, because it's going to upset other people. It's going to hurt other people. Other people are going to show me their suffering in relationship to my wealth creation. That if you are holding guilt in your body or energy field, then you will be seeing that very clearly. If you can let go of the guilt, then literally your reality changes. And I know a lot of people might think, oh, that's far-fetched, but I have this on good authority from myself and my own clients, that when you let go of energy, it's almost like the constellation, your energy field literally changes your reality around you. So you need to be the person who's aware of what's going on inside of you to be able to shift it in the first instance, to therefore create a different reality. So starting to look, where are those patterns presenting, or where has that pattern of energy presented in the past? Where else have you had criticism, perhaps, that it's not okay for you to do well. It's not okay to display wealth. It's not okay to choose to spend your money the way that you choose to spend it. Or that if you do choose those things, that it's going to agitate or upset or aggravate other people. So starting to look a little bit for the patterns. And often what will happen is there will be a great aha moment, or there will be some awareness of where that kind of pattern of energy has presented in the past. And once you have done that, you can actually start shifting it just through awareness. We all love those moments where we have an aha and then we go, oh, wow, look at that. That's part of my kind of makeup, energetically, physically, emotionally. And once I've identified it, and then start doing start identifying that perhaps I've given energy or focus or attention to something that is actually untrue, because you are not responsible for other people's emotions. So I'm just going to repeat that, right? You are not responsible for other people's emotions. So in this circumstance with Julia, I would anticipate what is occurring is on some level, she's feeling a level of discomfort, not necessarily because of the people in front of her, but perhaps because of an energy from the past. And I know if she's listening, she'll probably be able to identify what that is pretty quickly. That's what's looking to be healed. That's the part of you that's kind of going, okay, where do we need to release the guilt or the shame or the feelings of needing to reduce ourselves in order to keep somebody else happy. Because you think about it, if you have two people in the room and one person is maybe they're a little bit lost or they're not sure where they're going, and then you have another person in the room who's really ambitious and they're super focused, just having those two people stand next to each other, energetically, they're not matched. And also energetically, the person who's feeling a little bit lost might feel quite triggered by the person who's ambitious because they know, they can feel it within that person's energy field that they're focused, their energy is galvanized, they know what they're doing, they know what they want, they know where they're going. Now that doesn't make the person who's a little lost wrong, and it doesn't make the person who's really ambitious right. It's just a different energetic frequency. And this is why what we learn through doing spiritual work is there is no right or wrong, right? It's not wrong to be lost. It's not wrong to be ambitious. It's not right to be lost. It's not right to be ambitious. It just is what it is. When we take the good, bad, right, wrong away from all of that and just go, this is what I'm choosing next. And how do I choose this choice without feeling guilty or like I'm doing something wrong in relationship to other people, then that's when we get to be free. And this is the beautiful thing about wealth creation. It is always showing us our stuff, right? It's because also too, intrinsically, whether people realize this or not, wealth creation always comes back to your value proposition and how much you choose to value yourself in terms of what it is that you're going to receive, right? And I know a lot of people who have experienced extreme levels of traumatic experiences, and they often go on to become the wealthiest people because they develop a steely determination to have things be awesome because they've experienced so much crap, basically, that they're like, there has to be something more than this. They have to kind of reach down into the depths of their being and kind of go, I'm going to pull myself up by the bootstraps. I'm going to make it happen. It's usually through adversity that people grow. And when you have a lot of adversity, there's a lot of growth. And when you have a lot of adversity, also known often as trauma, there's an amazing opportunity to transcend all sorts of limitations and really propel yourself into huge volumes of success if that's what you choose to experience. So really starting to look at what does it take to be free and clear of other people's jealousy? Now, a really confronting thing too about no matter what belief is to realize that it only hurts to the level that you already believe it yourself. Okay, so let me put this into context. What this means is that if you have somebody in your life and world and they're kind of giving you a bit of stick or a little bit of, blowback, or they're giving you some negative feedback, it really only lands in your body and your energy field to the level that you already believe it. Okay, so it only lands to the level that you already believe it. So if somebody says something unkind, if you don't believe that about yourself, it is literally like Teflon. It's like an egg sliding off a Teflon frying pan. It's just like, no, that's not me, because I don't believe that about myself. But if there's a level of belief there that may be subconscious, and somebody says something to you and it actually kind of pings in your body on a physical level, then that's worth investigating. And also too, what we want to do is we want to be supersonically aware and actually thank that person for bringing it to our attention, because it's not what the person said the energy is within us. It's kind of like stroking a guitar string. And if it kind of resonates, then we realize that that's for us. Even if somebody's being cruel, right, or unkind, it is only going to land to the level that we actually believe that about ourselves. So noticing this for yourself, if you have somebody jealous of you and they're unkind and they're cruel about it, noticing, or to what level do I actually believe that it's not okay to, drive my dream car or to show up in the way that I want? To what level do I actually believe that that's not all right? And starting to look at that inside yourself. And often in my coaching practice, I use a scale or a percentage, like to what percentage is that true for you, that you actually believe that it's not okay to display your wealth. And of course, we get a lot of messaging about this in the conscious collective, right? In terms of celebrity or fame or wealth or expressions of wealth. And it's probably, I think we're shifting away from that really as a society. I think a lot of people are a little bit over that. But, once upon a time, it was like, yes, people wanted to see the possibility. They wanted to see the Lamborghini. They wanted to see the flash house. They wanted to see all of that. And again, you want to make sure that you're making those choices from what lights you up, from what brings you pleasure, from what you enjoy, rather than anybody else's messaging. But starting to look inside ourselves and kind of go, okay, to what level is this really bringing me joy? Because again, you are not responsible for how other people feel. So there's a couple of things that I would encourage you to do if you're in a circumstance, folks, where people are jealous of you. First and foremost, if people are not conscious of their jealousy, one of the best things to do is to just send them blessings, right? To send them blessings, to say, I wish you abundance as well. I wish you joy. To have an energy or an attitude towards people. How can I be generous towards them? How can I help them to create more wealth? How can I give them information or awareness that is going to support them in their journey and their pursuit of wealth? If you were clever, Julia, you could even turn around and ask, the people in front of you, well, how can I help you to create more wealth in your business, right? To actually give them some ideas or some perspective or some focus that's going to help them to move into profit more quickly, rather than allowing them to say comments to you. They're a little bit backhanded. To actually take that energy and shift it around and go, well, where are you actually blocking yourself in your wealth creation? How can I help you or support you in terms of what it is that you're looking to create? Right? Because again, you are not responsible for other people's emotions. And I know when we're in those moments and we have somebody who's saying in front of us, we're having them say, oh, and often too, people don't usually come out and say, hey, I'm jealous. It's very seldom that people do that, because that's usually coming from a higher level of awareness. Because once somebody says that, and then you have an understanding of what this kind of contracted vibration or discomfort is, this distortion that's kind of sitting in the room that nobody's speaking to, you can actually address it and you understand it, and you can let it go when somebody's actually honest and acknowledging it and taking accountability for it. But this is really a codependent situation, right? Where we're thinking that we are doing something that is creating distress for other people. We are never doing things that are creating, unless we're being, psychologically abusive, or, we're going out of our way to be the perpetrator and to be cruel and mean to people. By you choosing to do what you're doing, that is triggering somebody else, like you're focused on your business, on your dreams, your goals, that is never, ever, right, got anything to do with anybody else. You are not responsible for how the people around you are going to respond to that. What you want to do, is everybody will tell you, is surround yourself with people who can celebrate that, who can cherish that and say, oh my God, that is amazing. You are going for it. And I love that. And I'm so proud of you. And I'm celebrating you. And I just look at everything that you've had to overcome to get to this place in your life. those are the people that you want to hang out with. And I get it, like I've been in circumstances myself where I've had, friends who can't really celebrate me, friends who are kind of looking on the downside, looking at the contraction rather than, like the glass half empty rather than the glass half full. And again, the one thing you can do is you can send them blessings. You can send them the desire, right? Your wish for them that they get to find their own path, that they get to step into their own version of abundance, that they get to choose that for themselves, right? You can wish for them to choose that for themselves. However, you don't have to change your behavior. You don't have to tone things down. In fact, you want to stand in the energy of being the demonstration of what's possible. And I get it. Again, this is why energy clearing is so powerful in terms of shifting the energy or the contraction out of our field. So we aren't contracting. We aren't going into fear. We can actually stand in love and go, you know what? It is actually safe, right, and good for me to choose what I want to wear, what car I want to drive, what house I want to live in, and do that from a place of being proud of what I've accomplished and really allowing that to land, to be the person. Because again, what we understand about the wealth journey, the further we go into it, is understanding that the money is a side effect of the person that we wish to become, right? The money is a side effect of the person that we wish to become. So you must notice too that as I'm talking about this, the focus is not on other people. The focus is on self. So one of the number one things you can do when people are being jealous towards you is look inside yourself and look at anywhere you're holding a limiting belief that your wealth creates other people distress, that it creates discomfort, that it's not great for them, that you've got any energetic agreements or contracts in place where you have to agree to a certain limit of what you can receive in order to maintain friendships or relationships, and how it's so important to be aware of that on a deep level, because often I've seen this before where people will hold themselves back. They won't allow themselves to earn more than their parents, for example, or their family, their brother, their sister, whatever, their relatives. They literally hold themselves back because of this stuff, because of the emotional components often connected to their family. And when we start unpacking this and looking at this and investigating this and then bringing some light to this, and it's not ever about making somebody wrong, it is about just looking at what the energy is there. What's the energy? Oh, look what I did. Oh my goodness, I've made this agreement to kind of stay in this place of safety or not create discomfort for this person, because when I go for it, I can see that it makes them feel uncomfortable. Right? We have an awareness of that and then we make a different choice. So again, first thing, right? Have a look inside yourself, see what's going on, see what energy or what patterns of energy are showing up, because your reality is subjective. It's made up of every experience that you've already had and the filter that it may be in place. So we want to get the filter clear. We want to get our internal energy centers clear, so we're not holding any energy of guilt, so we can really let go. If we have people making comments that, sometimes we actually need to be kind of on the physical level in the terms of communication. We need to have a couple of things up our sleeve. Like if people make offhand comments, that we have something up our sleeve, right, to be able to give back to them, which sometimes might be just, so what are you going to do about that? Or, how can I help you with that? Right? If you have somebody saying to you, oh, we're paying you too much money, obviously sometimes in a circumstance like that, we can be like a little bit shocked and we can be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they've said that. But, higher level of consciousness means that we do the inner work to get free and clear of any emotional charge. And then you could even say, do you need some support in creating more abundance in your business? Would you like some help in regards to creating more wealth in your business? Right, which is a great way to position yourself as an expert while all at the same time not taking responsibility for how they feel. Or even turning it around and saying, do you not feel like we contribute to the success of your business? How can I help you in that, right? A great way to disarm a situation or to collapse the paradigm, to kind of, it's kind of like a hot potato, right? When somebody throws you energy and it's like a hot potato, you've got a lot of different choices. You can catch it, which obviously is going to burn you, right? And we know what that feels like when we take the energy into our energy field and it's like, oh, right? We can not even catch it. We can just let it fall on the ground, or we can throw the hot potato back. Right? So you have lots of choices in those moments, even helping people to learn how to say no. I think it's always really good to just have a couple of lines up your sleeve so you're kind of mentally prepared that if those circumstances present themselves, you can actually say something. And, often too, we don't want to say no and go into distortion by lying because that takes us out of integrity. So great ways to say no, that doesn't work for me, or I'm not available for that. Right? Just really, let's not lie. Let's keep it short. Let's keep it simple. Let's stay in integrity. And the same thing in regards to these circumstances. If people are feeling disgruntled or unhappy, then actually kind of invite them in a little bit and say, if you are feeling resentful, where do you feel like you're blocking yourself from creating more money? How can I support you in that? What is it that you would, if you wanted to sit down and pick my brains about how I've managed to create wealth for myself, what would you want to know? Because I think often too, people can feel like that they're on the outside, right? Especially when it comes to money. People have scarcity consciousness and they're going, I don't have it, and that person does. So they feel excluded. And this can often bring up feelings of rejection and abandonment. And if also too that we have the courage to be willing to see intuitively and psychically about what is actually up for people, it lends us more compassion, because instead of kind of reacting from our ego and kind of feeling like, oh, I feel bad, we can kind of look at that person and go, oh, wow, they feel like they're missing out. Or they feel like they can't create it for themselves, or they feel scared that they can't create it for themselves, or maybe they feel angry and underneath the anger is fear that they can't create it for themselves. So when we kind of open up and go, how can I help you to create more abundance? Would you like some advice in regards to your business plan? I've found these things really helpful in regards to creating more abundance in my life. This is what I chose to do, even, I took this risk when it was scary, or, when our backs were against the wall. This is what we chose to do, to start opening up a little bit and sharing some of those stories. Now, sometimes it might be appropriate and sometimes it might not. But, first things first, get out of your head and into your heart, right? People are emotional creatures. You don't want to respond from your mind. You want to respond from the heart space. Because essentially, if people are giving you that kind of energy, they feel like they're not good enough. If they feel envious or jealous of you, they're in a way giving you a backhanded compliment. They're saying, I want what you've got. So what would it take to help them and give it to them in some way, shape, or form? Even if it's just energetically when you're talking to them, that you're in the energy of openness and receptivity, that you're sending them love from your heart space, that you're sending the energy and intention like, I wish you success, I wish you happiness, I wish you joy, which is actually a really deep, fundamental spiritual principle, right? To wish or to give other people what it is that you want to receive. Right, the law of cause and effect. But to be conscious as you're having a conversation, to have your intention in your heart space. Your heart is open, you're sending them light, you're wanting and wishing for them to receive what it is that you've already created. So really stepping in, and you can see how this actually starts to shift you into a place where you're owning your light, your ability, your success, and your power in a much bigger way. So maybe it actually is calling from your spirit to share the wealth and the respect of share what it is that you've learnt. And ironically, maybe this could even become a new stream of income to kind of put into a platform or a video series what you did in your business to create your wealth. And then other people can watch it, whether you choose to charge them for it or you choose to give it away for free. But you start sharing information so people feel like they have more access. They have more. And I know sometimes this can feel a little, even if it's to get together in a networking meeting and say, hey guys, what questions do you have? What do you want to know? We want to help you to be successful. Right? In a networking meeting or something like that, that just shifts the energy around. When people know that you care about them, that you want them to be successful too, it shifts the energy. They'll be able to ask you questions, you'll be able to give information, and then you can help shift the vibration. And this is essentially light work in a nutshell. Right? How do we help other people to create what it is that they want for themselves? I do that in my work through helping people to release those limiting beliefs, to know what it is to run energy and belief systems that really support them, to use their intuition to guide them to create massive success. And this is what we can do in our own way, shape, and form. So let me just recap. So first and foremost, look within yourself at the energy, patterns, beliefs, especially around family, especially connected to the past. The second thing is to really start to, notice that that's an inside job rather than external, but to start helping people to open up to ways that they can create more abundance for themselves. And to really understand, nobody wants to feel excluded. So if you have wisdom, knowledge, or information, be willing to share it. Maybe there's another way that you do that. Maybe it's a video platform, or maybe it's a podcast where you're talking to people. And I know a lot of people might think, well, I've never considered that before, but this is a way that we can share information. And that's why podcasts have taken off, obviously, because people love to learn, right? They've got access to information. That information has energy in it. When you listen to it, it calibrates your energy field. You learn more, you apply it, and then amazing things can happen. So remember, right, it's actually a backhanded compliment if people are jealous of you, and there is a way to flip that around by opening up. The answer pretty much to everything is to open up. And I know when we're being attacked or feeling like we're being attacked, it can feel very difficult to open up, but that's really spiritual enlightenment in a nutshell. And you want to bless all the people who do attack you, because they're the ones who help you grow. So blessing those people who kind of throw the chestnut or throw the dagger or shoot the gun, right, energetically towards you, you want to bless those people and go, okay, well, how can I help you? Like, in what way can I serve? Now, of course, right, we want to do this from a place of safety, supersonic awareness, having a really good boundary, maintaining our own standards, because that's what's important. If it's important to you to own your wealth and be able to wear what you want to wear and drive what car you want to drive and live in what house and all the other trappings, you should choose that, because that is unique to you. You don't want to let anybody else's opinions, agendas, behaviors, or judgments stop you, because what you're doing in a way is you're contracting because of fear, which is coming from the external, but is being prompted by the internal. So if we do the internal work to get clear, to get aligned, and then it can be easier to give to those people that we feel like are being the perpetrators. So hopefully this is landing in terms of looking at it from perhaps a completely different perspective. What these people are saying to you is, I have a problem. And even though they might be doing it in a roundabout way, they're saying, I have a problem and I believe on some level that you can solve it. So help them, right? Help them. Start asking questions. Start asking questions about what it is that they want to create. If somebody came at to me, said something offhand about, oh, I'm paying you too much money, I would say, well, what is it that you're looking to create for yourself? What is it that you're looking to create in your business? How can I support you in that? What is it that you would want to know? Where are you not feeling fulfilled or inspired in terms of creating that for yourself? And you can see often too, this is where Money can be so revealing because people can often make a lot of money and still feel very unfulfilled. And that's a really scary place to be, because once we've achieved that pinnacle and we have a lot of money and we're still not feeling great on the inside, that's a quality problem, granted, but we want to do the deep dive. We want to do the inner work and go, okay, well, I have all the money, so what does it take in terms of creating fulfillment? Sometimes that's a rearrangement of our value proposition. How can I create more fulfillment in my life? And often too, fulfillment comes from giving to others in some way, shape, or form. Understanding too, this is how kind of energy and intuition and psychic development work. These people are coming to you with words. Check the energy underneath the words. The energy underneath the words is, I don't feel good enough. Like, how have you been able to create what it is? I'm confused. Like, how have you been able to do it and I'm still not able to do it? Maybe there's a little bit of like, what's wrong with me that you've been able to do it, that I haven't been able to do it. So when you have that awareness about the energy underneath the words, so much easier to go back to these people with compassion and say, hey, there's nobody stopping you from you creating it for yourself. Can I help you with that? Would you like me to help you with that? Like, what do you need to do to be able to create it for yourself? And start sharing some information, even if it's just a sentence here and there or a demonstration of willingness. Because I think one of the biggest things that frightens people about wealth and success is it's over there and not here. So if you open yourself up a little and make yourself accessible to say, okay, well, this is how I've created, or, what's your plan? Or would you like me to overlook your plan in terms of creating success for yourself? Would you like my help? Rather than holding the kind of defense energy of like, I need to contract or go into fear or not be myself because it's upsetting other people. So it's kind of a multi-layered approach, and I know it might be quite different from what you would hear in the general populace in regards to, this is how to deal with jealousy, because it's easy, right, to go back to jealousy from the ego, which is, like, oh, just disregard it, or don't worry about it, or it's about you, it's about them, not you, rather. I think that's just a little flippant. You want to always take every circumstance that happens in your life and see it as a learning opportunity. Like, what is the universe trying to show me here in this situation? What am I being called to do, right? Or called to be aware of so I can shift it inside of myself. Now, you might not want to share information, and that's totally fine too, but what does it take to still share the blessing, right? To show appreciation, to show others, like, I appreciate your business, and I'm sure you already do that, right, Julia? I'm sure you're already in that space of offering compliments and thanking people for their business and acknowledging them on that level. But, ask them more questions, do a survey. How else can we help you? Just even be honest about it and say, we've had a lot of feedback from people wanting to know how we've managed to develop our business. Would you be interested in learning more information in regards to how we've done that? See how it lands. Don't be afraid to be curious in response to people's snippiness, okay? Because really what they're looking for is inspiration, empowerment, encouragement, and somebody who's going to give them permission to say, yes, you can do this too. I've been able to do it. Of course you can do it. And it's totally safe, right, and good. And again, we see this all the time as people go into the next level of wealth. Often they say, next level, new devil, in terms of what comes up for us emotionally, because it always comes back to our wealth proposition. So really starting to sit with some of this information, realize that it's an inside job, it's a backhanded compliment, there's an opportunity to help and serve here, that people are wanting you to show them the way, that they're seeing you as the authority, that they're perhaps asking you for something that they're not comfortable to say outright, and that, even on that physical communication level, to have a few things up your sleeve where you can go, okay, well, well, if they give you a snippy comment, it's just say, oh, that's curious. What makes you say that, right? Like if they say, oh, we're paying you too much money. Oh, that's interesting that you say that. Can you tell me what's prompted you to say that? Be curious, right? Get to the heart of the matter. And a lot of that often is about being willing to become more intimate with your staff and your clients. Because again, can you see how that connects to that feeling of they're looking to receive something and they might be feeling like you have it and they don't? So there's part of you that's like, what does it take for me to kind of offer it? If they take it, they take it. If they don't, they don't. Right? But you might be really surprised how much interest there obviously is in this, right? They're kind of literally showing you in a way, almost, if you wanted to see it that way, for another stream of income, like how to create what it is that they want in this business. Now, and again, how you choose to receive and process this information, it's totally up to you, but I would definitely check the energy behind the words, because most people, we all are human and we all experience the same emotions, and predominantly those emotions, are love and joy, or fear and guilt and shame. It's usually pretty much, if you boil emotions down, they kind of fall into those two categories. And even though these people are presenting with maybe some fear, the scarcity, the doubt, the maybe guilt kind of feelings, like feeling like they're guilting you, guarantee you, if you're prepared to look beyond that and answer that question of what is it that these people really want, I'm sure you'll see some significant changes. Now, the other thing too, if you don't feel to do that, just bless them. See themselves as being able to create it for themselves, right? You want to see them as your equals, right? As the people who can create this for themselves. Hold that intention when you're having conversations. Hold that intentions that like you might be speaking to the next person who turns themselves into a multi-millionaire. Hold that intention, because people can feel that within your energy field as well. That is your offering. It doesn't need to be any more than that. You don't have to go and do anything that you don't want to do, but having and holding that intention, people will feel it, they'll appreciate it, they'll feel acknowledged, they'll feel like they have what it takes, right? That you're believing in them without even saying a word. So I hope this information has been helpful in regards to maybe seeing jealousy in a different way. Really what people, when they're bringing jealousy, is they're really just showing you that they see you as the fulfillment of their dreams, right? You are their ideal. And if we feel jealous of other people, it is really just showing us our potential. So what you want to do is to be really the permission giver and say, yeah, if I can create it, you can create it too. You want to see them as the person who has what it takes, because I think a lot of the time that's what people really love. It's those moments or those times or those places where they've had somebody that they admire or they look up to or they see as the authority, and they're just waiting for that person to say, I believe in you. I know you've got what it takes. So I think that's an amazing way to shift the energy of jealousy and to really take it as a compliment, to see through what people are bringing and to realize that they're seeing you as their ideal outcome, and really kind of receiving and accepting the compliment for that, blessing them and, owning it, right? Drive the dream car. Wear the jewelry, wear the great clothes, be the demonstration, but do what it takes to get comfortable with that. Allow yourself to have that experience. Shift the energy inside of yourself so you can own it, and then offer that to others and say, yes, this is available to you too. Even if you're just moving in that beautiful clothing, dressed up, looking amazing, and offering that to others, right? Bringing that energy of like, if I've created it, you can too. If that's in your energy field all the time, people will feel it and they'll appreciate it. That's my thoughts on dealing with jealousy. If you have got a question, folks, that you would like answered on the Intuitive Abundance podcast, please do send them to I think it's podcast@intuitivelifeacademy.com. If you go to the Intuitive Life Academy, you'll be able to find the email address there, intuitivelifeacademy.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much too to all the amazing people who have left ratings. I very much appreciate it. If you would like to leave one, if you've enjoyed this content, please do go and do that on Apple. We very much appreciate it. And we definitely want to keep this relevant to what is important to you. So please do send us in your questions and comments and feedback. I hope you have been enjoying the show so far. I have absolutely loved creating it, and I will look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode. Bye for now. Bye. Thank you for joining the Intuitive Abundance podcast today. If you've enjoyed the show, please be sure to subscribe and write us a review so we can help other people positively impact their lives. I would really love that. If you're ready to activate the energy of abundance within you, then be sure to go to www.intuitivelifeacademy.com to sign up for our abundance activation process. Until next time, here's to your ever-increasing freedom. All my love. Bye for now.